All right. Are you enjoying so far? I hope you're enjoying so far. I hope you're learning a lot about WordPress, and I hope you're having fun too. Now, we've learned quite a bit so far. You got your tour of the admin interface. We just rocked it out large with themes, and we have this new rockin' theme applied to our rockin' WordPress blog. But of course, the next big thing that I want to talk about is creating posts and all the different ways that we can work with our posts. And I want to talk about publishing options and about a billion other things. So let's get started here. Let's get started by creating a new post inside WordPress's visual editor. We'll talk about working with that HTML editor, which I mentioned earlier. We'll talk about that in a little while. But I'm going to get started here with you in this exercise by taking a look at creating just kind of a simple straight up post, and then we'll get more complicated as we go. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that you can go about creating a new post. If you want, here inside the dashboard, you can use the quick press. That's kind of the down and dirty way to create a post. That's fine. You could click on new post right up at the top, the sort of the top right-ish of the admin panel. You can certainly do that as well. But normally what I do anyway is I flip over to the left-hand side here, hop into posts, and then I simply click on add new. And then that'll throw you into this screen here. Now, maybe what I should do, I'm sure you're anxious to get in here and start creating some content, creating posts and so on, but maybe what I should do here is take a quick moment and kind of give you a tour of this screen and kind of show you what's what. And what's super awesome is if you've ever used a word processor in your life, then you're going to be right at home here. There's a lot of familiar commands here. So anyway, we have the title for our post. It's sort of the title field here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll type into the field here, what is Flash? That will be the sort of the title of my first post here. And then below that, we have this area here. This is really sort of the body area or the content area where you and I are going to go and add in text, and we can add in graphics and multimedia and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll get to that in just a second. Now, I want to show you a couple of interesting things here. First of all, as soon as we type in our title, what is Flash, or whatever you decide to type in there, as soon as you type that in and then you click into this sort of this body field down here below, you'll notice that this thing here shows up, this weird wacky thing called a permalink. What the heck is a permalink? Well, perma suggests permanent. So it's the permanent link to this post. So in other words, if I want to send someone the link for this post, this would be the link that they would actually have to click on or type into their browser's address field to get to this post. So it's the link to the post. That's all it is, right? And you'll notice here that it'll say http:// and then your URL, yourname.com or your domain.com. Again, I'm running a local installation, so mine's localhost. But then it'll say /?P equals, and then a number. So the P stands for post, and then the number is the post's ID number. So we're going to talk in more detail later on about permalinks and how you can customize your permalinks and, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But suffice it to say, at this point, this is the permalink. This is the link, the direct link to this post. That's how it works. Okay, cool. All right, now, what else do we have inside this screen? Well, we have an upload insert toolbar, this fella right here, which will let us add in images and video, movie clips, audio clips, and other kinds of media, this fella here. And then below that, we have the very standard looking word processing toolbar. So there's your bulleted lists and your numbered lists and your alignments and all that good stuff, right? There's some cool things in here too, which I'll show you in due time. And then the other thing that we have is our visual editor, which you and I are going to work inside for this post. But we also have this HTML editor. I can just click on that tab, and now I'm inside my HTML editor, right? So you can actually flip back and forth between the two. If you know about Dreamweaver, if you use Dreamweaver and you know about Dreamweaver's design view and code view, it's very similar. Same sort of idea, right? So anyway, make sure you're inside the visual tab there. Okay, and then over on the right-hand side, we have some publish options. We'll talk about these publish options. We have post tags. We'll get into tags. We'll get into categories. And then below all of that, we have excerpts. We have trackbacks and pingbacks as well. We'll talk about that, custom fields, and then some discussion options. So we'll get into all the sort of the finicky stuff in just a bit. But let's actually get some content for our post. So here's what I'm going to do. I could type out some content, but I mean, you know, that would embarrass me because I have trouble typing, and it's going to take forever, right? So here's what I'm going to have you do. Hide Firefox or minimize Firefox. Go into your 10-ton WordPress sample files folder, which I hope you copied onto your desktop. And then inside your sample files folder, you will find a file called firstpost.txt. Go ahead and fire that guy open. And all I want you to do is simply select all this text and copy the content. So you can hit Command A or Control A if you want to select everything, and then copy it all, Control C or Command C here on the Mac. And then I'll flip back over to WordPress. Make sure your cursor is inside this body field here, and then just paste Command V or Control V there over on the Windows side. That's all there is to it. Okay, so now we have some content. Awesome. Now, I want to talk about our publish options. I actually want to get this post published onto our blog. We'll talk about that in just a second. What I want to do at this point, though, is I want to save this guy as a draft. So, in other words, over on the right-hand side, we have Save Draft. Go ahead and click on that guy. And what that will do is it'll save the post sort of in the admin backend, I guess you could say. But it hasn't actually added the post to our blog yet, which is actually very cool. So what you could do if you wanted to is you could write up a bunch of posts and save them as drafts, and then when you're ready, you could go ahead and publish them, right? So hopefully all good there. So make sure you save your draft there. If you want to, by the way, you can flip back over to your preview tab there, the live blog that we're running there. Again, you might have to hold down Control or Command and click on Visit Site there. And then if you try refreshing Command R or Control R, you'll notice that your new post has not been added to your blog yet. So again, because it's saved as a draft, it's not actually posted or published live on the blog just yet. We'll get to that in a second.